turn off my video for now.
No, you can do your thing. Don't worry about it. And going live. We're live.
Awesome. Nice to be back.
I'm not
Hi,
gonna do an
everyone.
intro. I'm not doing an intro.
Because
I'm I don't know. I'm kind of hyper. I had a bunch of sugar right before I started Zoom up.
What's that you're drinking?
Don't ask.
I want to know. I already asked. I can't take back my question. Mountain Dew.
Yes.
Well, no wonder. You know that has a bunch of caffeine in it
Oh yes.
and sugar.
I'm not supposed to have it,
Mm.
but I figure if anything's gonna kill me, it's probably gonna be somebody at the gym. So
Yeah.
might as well indulge my
Or it's gonna be your diet slowly and painfully.
actually my blood pressure was normal the last 2 days.
Yeah, didn't you get the green light to start drinking again?
Yes. I just haven't been able to get to the store to get anything good.
Mm.
So next week I'm gonna have
I
some
mean, it's
alcohol.
called booze and BJJ, so
I
like,
know.
where'd the booze at
Well, I wasn't expecting not being able to drink alcohol.
when you made the title?
Yeah,
Yeah, I hear you.
but I'm gonna do a video of me going, you know, victoriously uh into like an alcohol shop. What do they call it? Alcohol shop?
A liquor store?
Liquor store.
I mean, alcohol shop, that works too. You can call it the beer and wine store or the liquor store, depending on your taste and you know what kind of drinks you like. But I mean, alcohol store, I see that too. I'm not judging. It's okay.
Oh, I'm
Yes,
judging.
that's what it's called, Thomas. It's called a liquor store.
Uh, yeah, I'm gonna go to a liquor store and
Hmm.
I'm going to record my adventure in choosing something to indulge in.
What do you think you're gonna choose? Like
I don't know.
what kind of liquor?
I always wanted to try something with Irish cream in it. So maybe
Like Bailey's?
or get like Bailey's and mix it with something.
Yeah, that's pretty good. It's heavy though. It's like I can't drink too much Bailey's. It's so like rich, you know.
Is it?
Hmm.
Hi, Krypton. Krypton is in the chat.
Oh, hi Krypton. What's up?
You record that liquor store. He says go to the ABC. I think there's one
Yeah,
near in Arlington.
that's the Virginia liquor store is the ABC.
Yeah,
I always go on military base because the prices are cheaper. Less expensive, not cheaper. Cheaper implies lesser quality,
this is true.
less expensive.
So Krypton, I got a I got a bone to pick with your buddy Ink. Um he's doing too many of my techniques and it's a little weird. Oh, you were
Doesn't
told
that
to
make
stop
you feel
drinking too?
proud of, you know?
Oh, it does. It does. So me, him, and Wilson, um, we were all was it last Friday? We're all they were in my Nogi class, and it was me, us two, and one other guy. And we were cracking too many jokes, like trying to get everybody to focus. It's like, let's focus, guys, and then we would just start like grilling each other.
Hmm.
So it was fun. We finally honed it in and did some drilling. So
Yeah.
but it's just funny seeing two dudes doing techniques that I show them. I'm like, wow,
Yeah.
this is
I'd feel proud. I'd be like, hell yeah.
yeah,
I'm sure you're doing it right.
yeah.
But
But my pride was overshadowed by searing rage when we started rolling. I was like, wait a minute, you guys are trying my stuff on me. This cannot
like you
stand.
can't no. Well, I mean, if that's all they know, you know, I mean,
Eh,
they were trained at Chantilly, right?
yeah.
They
Well,
do
wait a
what
minute.
we teach them. I mean, maybe some crazy moves that they find online, that happens a lot. You
Yeah.
know, white belts and blue belts, and I mean any belt really. Finding some crazy technique online. They're like, oh, I want to do this one. I want to try this one. You know, and they bring it into class. Like Yo would do that all the time.
Yeah. The one thing I don't do all the time is show people the counter to what I am showing them or
Hmm.
the escape. I'll show them a escape generally, but I won't show them the escape to the technique I show them. Like,
Yeah.
I do my favorite thing recently is to try to take someone's back and then let them escape a little bit and then do a rear mounted triangle. So I'll do a triangle where you're back here and they have one arm exposed and the other one arm is kind of useless.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? It's
Mhm.
kind of hard to escape. And I figured out how to escape it, but I'm not telling them.
Oh, well,
I'll
tell
tell
me. I want to know.
I'll tell you, but I'll tell
Mhm.
Ank and
Yeah, they can wait.
yeah.
They can
I'll
wait.
I'll tell them 6 months from now after I've hit it a few more times on them.
Yeah.
Yes, Krypton, I'll tell you too.
Is there a reason you're not doing an introduction tonight?
I am too hyper. I might say something that will get us even
Oh,
further
I
shadow
can.
banned.
Well,
Maybe
I
let's
like it when you ask like how everybody's training week is, and like, well, I'll mention this. Lots of
oh
us are prepping for a big tournament at the.
okay. I'll do it. We can do it. We'll do it live. See, I'm hyper.
Go for it, man.
All
Bring that
right.
energy.
Welcome to the Booze and BJJ podcast. I'm your host, Thomas. I have too much sugar in my system right now. I don't know what's going on. Anyways, how's everybody's week gone? Yana, would you like to tell us how your training has been?
Well, I had to take a couple weeks off for a skin thing, so that was frustrating. But trained again today. I felt pretty good, and my coach says that Sugi says I should still compete. So that's my plan. Lots of us are training for the Masters Worlds at the end of next week. So big tournament. It's going to be a huge turnout, and I'm anticipating it to be tough. So that's me. And I'm not drinking because of the tournament.
Yes. No
Mhm.
alcohol before
Mhm.
competition. Angie, how's your week gone? How's your training going?
Good, good. I've been training like 2, 3 times a day and trying to like cut weight. So yeah, I was just been like really focused on the competition now.
Mhm.
Things falling in the bed. Yeah, I feel like super focused. I feel really good.
Good.
Yeah, I feel strong. I feel like confident too because I've been training a lot and just in a competition mood and a little bit like needed a little bit of discipline on like dieting and stuff. Um, but I got the hang of it right now. So
No good.
yeah, I cut about like I was when I came back from Mongolia, I was like 126 pound. So I'm cutting down to 116 to count for the 2 pounds of ghee.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm doing the light feather,
Mhm.
which is 118 pounds. So
Yeah, that's tough.
yeah, I've been like
Hard
trying
cut.
to cut like 10 pounds, which is kind of crazy. It's almost like almost 10% of my body weight, if you think about it. Maybe
That's
8%. Yeah. Um,
that's like the most grueling aspect of
because
competing, I
mhm.
feel like.
I think like for bigger guys, like heavier weights, 10 pounds is nothing. But for me, like I don't weigh that much anyway. I don't
And you're
think.
already fit. That's the thing. It's like when you're already fit, it's
Uh-huh.
a lot harder to lose weight when you're already athletic, you know.
Yeah. But I have like 3, 4 pounds, maybe 3 pounds to lose. So, mm, yeah.
So what weight class are you entering? 120?
118 pound.
Oh, 118. Ooh.
Yeah.
That's rough.
Yeah.
Um,
Uh-oh.
Uh, I guess we lost her. Wale, what's up?
Wale.
Nice to see you again.
What's up? Good to see y'all too. Just getting back from the beach.
Oh, very nice. Which beach?
North Beach out of Maryland.
Okay. How far is that? How far of a drive?
It's not too bad. It's like maybe it's less than an hour. Sometimes
Really?
it's like maybe 50 minutes. Yeah.
What? North Beach?
Yeah.
Is it along the Chesapeake Bay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that near Chesapeake Beach?
I believe so. Yeah.
Hmm.
It's not too bad. It's a little bit smaller than the others. But yeah, it's a nice quick trip.
Oh, good.
My daughter has been asking to go to the beach forever. So
That's
How's
awesome.
how's your training
Hmm.
going?
um so I hearing about competitions and stuff. I need to sign up for one. I So my plan, if everything goes well, is to do a few competitions between now and I think Pans is in April.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then so like do like I don't know, just like kind of compete as much as possible between now and then,
Mm-hmm.
and then try out at Pans. So
Mhm.
that's the goal. But I gotta get back into the mindset because I've been off for a while, so I got to get back into the mindset, get back into like nutrition, all that stuff. So yeah,
It's
Yeah.
actually very interesting seeing everybody gear up for big competitions because you can see people's demeanors change during practice. Sometimes
yeah,
it's subtle and sometimes it's really noticeable.
yeah.
You recently one of my favorite people to see out on the mat, I'm not going to say any names, went from being like, haha, we're going to train, this is going to be so great, you want to partner with me, to the polar opposite.
Mm,
He's very like quiet, very stoic, and when
yeah,
you roll with him, it usually there's some jokes, chit chat a little bit, and then you roll for 4.5 minutes, nothing. He
Is
totally
this
went.
particular person competing at Masters Worlds?
Yes. Just
I'm, mm, I wonder if I rolled with this person.
I think you have.
you should put it in the chat.
Yeah, I don't know who you're talking about though.
Put it in the chat.
I mean, it's just it's good. It's good to see this person
Yeah,
back in competition form. So
Yeah.
yeah. I really need to because I've kind of let things go for a bit and gained weight. I'm trying to go get back down to like the weight I was when I was competing, but I know that's gonna be probably a year-long process. So it's just kind of daunting mentally to think about it.
Yeah.
But I need to not let that be a block for me. Because if I just think about the mental, how daunting it is mentally, and think of like, and I'm giving myself a realistic amount of time. But just when you say, I'm gonna do this for the next year, yeah, your mind's gonna be like, what the hell are you thinking?
Yeah.
So, but I just have to start. I need to start. Yeah,
Start somewhere, take it one day at a time,
yeah,
training session at a time. I mean, it is also daunting, especially when you're a father of two young kids.
yeah,
I mean, that's already a full plate right there, full-time working dad
yeah,
with toddlers. And I know I feel the stress, and I just have one little girl, so it's hard when you're,
I
yeah.
need them out the house so I can train all the time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Hi,
Oh yeah, I'll
Wole.
get there, I'm sure.
That's awesome. I'm really excited for your plan. Well, I really hope, you know, um, I hope you do like sign up for those tournaments
Yeah,
and get
because I
back.
mean, I think that like 8 months, I think it's a realistic amount of time to train. Um, yeah, but I've always wanted to do pans and worlds and stuff. So I figure let me try out and see how it goes with the training, how it goes with pans, and then maybe worlds, and
Yeah.
then the Olympics.
Yeah, right,
Yeah,
exactly. Go hard or go home.
yeah.
Away, man. All the way.
Hey,
Yep.
my battery died. Sorry.
Yeah.
Just
That's
came
okay.
back.
You're like, oh no, she.
Yeah, I was just like, I knew it was, I forgot to charge it. I knew it was slow.
Well, I mean, you've been out all day, so I'm not
Yeah,
surprised. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Hopped in gyms.
So what's the topic for today, Thomas? I remember you mentioning something about some scandal with the kid or something.
oh well, I was gonna do a part two of last week to go over that 16-year-old leg locker again.
Yeah.
But with Wale here, and since me and him talked about it last week, that kind of threw my plan off.
Okay.
So I'll leave it up to you guys. We can go over that again, or we could just freeform it.
Oh, what about I like that topic you had. You had sent an article. Um, well, actually, I do kind of want to know about this. But can you remind me what this saga is about with the kid and the leg locks? Like, what's the drama?
Wale, do you want to take a stab at it, or do you want me to explain?
Yeah, he's basically a big 16-year-old kid. He's competing against adult black belts and stuff. And in at least two instances, two different videos, he has seriously injured both his competitors. I think one was like blew out the guy's knee, and the other one was I think was like broke his leg, or
What?
well,
A blue
maybe
belt?
both of them were like
Popped.
messed up the person's knee.
I think it was both knee injuries.
Yeah, and it's just so Thomas and I, when we talked last time, we were just kind of debating: do we think it's deliberate? Is he doing it deliberately? And I was kind of the mindset of, especially like as a kid, if you're competing against black belts and stuff like that, you've been in the game long enough to understand that you don't do that sort of thing. He went into those submissions real quick and didn't really give his opponents any time to tap, or like he held on to it, when I think any seasoned professional would try to minimize the risk of injury and let go of a certain submission and try something else. Actually, the video that we looked at, Thomas, I was talking about demeanor, and the video where the second one where he totally messed up that guy's knee, he was kind of like celebrating. I mean, I get it. You won, right? But who wants to win that way? Like it just, to me, his demeanor just was not. He was just kind of like
Arrogant.
celebrating and rejoicing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's arrogant, but just like not given any, any thought to his opponent. You know how instructors always like take care of your training partners, because without them you have no one to train with, right? That sort of thing. Same thing with your competitor. Even if you're meant to be battling against them, you don't want to mess them up where it's like, they have to take time off, protracted time off to like heal from an injury. That's at least that's my opinion.
Yeah, but then there's also the mentality that some coaches have that, like, once you're on that mat, it's just like you got to switch that flip, and like your opponent's not going to care about you. You can't care about your opponent. Like, be aggressive. There's definitely coaches out there who express that sentiment, and I think that is both good and bad.
I think you can be aggressive and you can be controlled. It just didn't feel like there was enough control there. Like, you could, for example, you could go into a submission and not just like rip into it. You know what I'm saying? Especially ones that involve joints and all of that. You could like hold it real tight and, kind of slowly work your way into it,
But that
How old is the kid again? 16?
16, yeah.
And he was competing in adult level,
Yeah.
he's
black
big.
belt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think there's the other thing of like there's possibly money on the line too. So that, change the whole dynamic too. That changes the whole dynamic. So
Yeah, so we reviewed 2 videos. One was when he was 15 and he was a blue belt. Well, video said he was a blue belt, but that's questionable because I think you have to be 16 to be a blue belt universally, at least in most places. But um he definitely didn't give his opponent time to tap. And there was two specific situations in that match that we reviewed where, in my opinion, it looked like he was deliberately trying to force his opponent's legs into a position that would injure them. So, and then the second one, from the way it looked to me, it looked like he deliberately like got the guy's leg set up and then just cranked it. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, it's what's I gonna say? I mean, maybe I don't know if it's his coach or if it's him, but it almost felt like he had something to prove.
Mm-hmm.
And I get it. You're a 16-year-old. You're going up against black belts. Yeah, you do have a chip on your shoulder. You do have something to prove, but not to the point of messing these people up, because that's one of those things. Like, people are watching, and you if you get a bad enough sort of record of doing this over and over again, people are going to start coming for you, regardless of if you're 16 years old.
I wonder how they're
It's
looking at
not
the
really a
coach.
smart game to play, I don't think.
Yeah.
Actually,
I wonder how they're looking at the coach though, because it's like if the coach is there egging him on and he like the coach is one of those coaches who's like, don't care about your opponent because they're not going to care about you once you're on the mat and like trying to win, for an impressionable 16-year-old kid who has a big ego, that can be very dangerous.
Yeah.
And first of all, hold on a second. I'm confused. How is it that he's 16 and competing in adult level? That's what I'm confused about. I thought you
he's
18.
big.
He's big. He's like he's definitely over 6 foot, and he's
Okay.
like
So it would have been even less fair. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Actually,
I don't know.
not confirmed, but it looks like his coach is Eddie Bravo.
Well,
which would be shocking, but
yeah,
I don't know if that's true. Again,
and I mean, Thomas, you made a good point last time, is that like if one of your guys was doing that, you would bench them, which I think would be the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know what? And I think I said this last time. If you injure somebody accidentally,
yeah,
next time, no problem.
But
second time, we're gonna have a talk. Third time,
yeah, now it's a trend.
And I mean, I think also, again, I think it comes down to your demeanor. Yeah, if you injure someone accidentally and you're like kind of wrecked about it, like, oh my God, I'm really sorry that happened, blah, 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 it's understandable. But if it keeps happening over and over again, even if you're remorseful about it, whatever, then you got to go back to looking at how this kid is training,
Mm-hmm.
So, like, why is it that they're constantly making these mistakes and injuring people? And if they're not remorseful, then you still need to go back to the kid's training and be like, okay, why do you have such a big ego?
Mm-hmm. Well, he's a kid, like,
yeah,
16-year-old big boy. So, like, that's all that's all there is to it.
I mean, and I get it, but it's
shit.
just like you can be humble about it too. That's one of
I
the
don't
things
meet
that
many 16-year-old kids who are really good at something who are like humble about it.
No, yeah, but that goes back to coaching though. Like, your coach needs to drill that into you that, hey, don't, because no matter what level you are, there's always somebody who's going to come for you, who is going to take your place.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
What do you think, Angie?
Well, I think just teenagers, didn't know what injury is like. They maybe they get injured, but they recover fast, and so they
Mm.
didn't think of it as like a serious issue.
Yeah.
And so, and also they didn't know how to like control their power or speed. So, like intentionally or unintentionally, a lot of you know young adults or kids, they especially if they have big ego, they want to win, like, and that's when you have injury happen. And but like Wale said, that if the person doesn't have remorse for the injury because there's no like empathy or whatever, then you know martial arts should be the one that kind of teaches you that, like, empathy, and
And
you don't
respect.
go in, yeah, respect and stuff like that. So if they don't have remorse, it's not really like, I think the only way that they learn is by like they are getting injured, you know,
Mhm.
Yeah.
um, at
And who
some
knows if
point.
he has like a career oriented job, whereas like most people, competing as adults, like jujitsu is not their profession.
Yeah.
And so maybe
Yeah.
he doesn't think about that. Like you were saying, he's not thinking about the serious repercussions of getting an injury like that and how it can put someone
Yeah.
out of work,
Mm-hmm.
and make you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's another good point. It's like, he's probably not working, like, he's not working to, support his family, or, well, I don't know, but
They
it's
don't know
likely
life,
that he, what's that?
Teenagers, they're teenagers. They
Yeah,
don't know life.
it's likely that he may has like have a part-time job or whatever. So it's, it's different, if you get injured,
Hmm.
it's not like you're supporting your entire family on your job.
Mhm. Yeah, I think as
Yeah.
we get like older and you get like into masters, people are a lot more
Hmm.
Yeah.
respectful when they're
Mhm.
training, to
Yeah.
their training partners, obviously, but also like I think in tournaments also, because we all know most of us, we're not doing this for a profession. Most of
Yeah.
us have families, we're mothers, we're fathers, we have full-time,
Jobs,
career. Yeah,
career.
we
Yeah.
need to be able to work the next day and care for our family.
Yeah.
So, we want to win, but safely.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but I think at younger ages, you're not really thinking about that as much.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you're a student, maybe you're working
Mm-hmm.
part-time. Most times you're not thinking about that. So you're just thinking
Yeah.
about,
Most times they're not thinking about the other person, right? Because they're just thinking about winning, and so that's just like ego, right? So they just only focused on their win, their life, their whatever career, but they're not really being respectful for the person who is competing with you. But really, like, you should be respectful of the other person
Mhm.
Yeah.
that you're competing with, especially like for women. We didn't have a lot of people, like girls compete, like train anyway and then compete. So like whenever I have opportunity, like it's a bigger like more people sign up, I'm more like thankful because then I get to like go have matches like 4 or 5 times
Mhm.
in a
Get your money's
tournament,
worth.
not like 1 or 2 times or
Yeah.
with one person 3 times or something. And so like I'm always thankful like for the people who trained, like competed with me, because then like if they weren't there, then I didn't have the chance to
Yeah.
like compete and then improve or whatever.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so it's more like empathy, right? Like not thinking on the other person's side. Like that boy is not thinking of the injury, like what they have to go through
Yeah.
after the injury. Like I got a knee injury and then I quit my job because I was like limping and pushing stretchers. at work, and then I was like, oh, it's fine, like whatever. But then it was like really um like we couldn't do it. So I was out of work for 2 months and then came back to another job because that was too much on my knees and then it wouldn't have healed like faster if I stayed in the job because my job was like walking all day. And so like they're just like the consequences of having an injury is like mentally and physically and also mm, like
Financially.
financially, yeah, it's puts a toll on people, and 16-year-old isn't gonna understand that, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe like yeah, but someone have to like coach that, like
Yeah,
tell
I
that
mean, his
like you
coach
can't.
really should be the one who's like, hey, man, like take it down a notch, or like, we don't compete like this,
Yeah.
or, just
Yeah,
kind of reinforce that the martial arts tenets of discipline, being humble, being
Mhm.
respectful, all those things. Like those are the tenets of any serious martial art you train in. It's the same tenets: being respectful, being humble, being uh I guess empathetic, and being disciplined, So one of the things you mentioned, this discussion kind of brings to mind that I know that there's like a few people, especially like women out there who don't compete, but they're like so good. If they were to compete, they would freaking kick ass, but they don't compete because they're always worried about getting injured. And I wonder, like, how often, I personally have never gotten injured in a tournament, not during a tournament. During training, I definitely have, but I've never gotten injured during a tournament. I wonder, like, what is it about the people who do consistently get injured during tournaments? Like, is there something they're also doing wrong? If you're a person who consistently gets hurt during a tournament, and that's why you decide not to compete, do you think there's something wrong there?
Well, the last time that I got injured, when my lumbar spine got twisted, um, it was, I think there was several different things at play because the guy who hurt me apparently hurt a couple other people prior to our match.
Mm-hmm.
So from what I observed during our match, it was somebody who was extremely strong, stronger than the average bear. Apparently, this guy owned a CrossFit gym and worked out all the damn time. And it was a combination of that and poor technique.
Yeah.
So
I think that's
What belt were you again?
probably,
this was the last blue belt comp that I did. So
yeah.
when it came down, I mean, if our match was reflective of the other matches that he was taking part in, he essentially used his superior strength advantage, controlled you, and then submitted you. But his submissions, I believe, were the issue because he tried a bow and arrow choke on me and he did it wrong, and that's why my spine went.
Yeah, I think lack of technique, or lack of proper technique, is the biggest cause of injuries.
Right.
Yeah, but I'm saying if you're the person consistently being injured, do you think there's anything that, like, I'm not talking a one-time thing. Like, if you're getting injured enough times that you decide you don't want to compete anymore, do you think that's indicative of anything of the person?
I think like you're probably not ready for the competition, but also like when you prepare for a competition, like you have to really like strengthen your muscles, your body. Like if you want to avoid injury, you have to like you have to be strong, like work out, and muscles have to be like strong to hold your joints. So that will decrease injury. And so for me, like if person is consistently getting injury, they probably not either warming up before competition or not training or just don't know when to tap, you know.
Yeah, I think
But
ego
also
thing?
like if yeah, but also like if they are maybe if they're maybe that good, but they're not competing because of an old injury or bad experience, then maybe that's just a personal choice. Like maybe they did compete once and then they had certain type of experience where they didn't feel that they don't need to compete. Yeah, it's probably like person to person cases, like reasons.
Yeah.
I think that's a good point. I think lack of preparation probably.
Yeah.
It's on the other side, on the person who's getting injured all the time. I think it's lack of preparation. Probably is the biggest thing. Yeah. I don't know if probably also, failure to tap early.
Yeah, or maybe
I
like
think
trying too hard to force a move that is like because your ego is in the match,
Or also
something.
like not giving yourself enough time to heal from an injury too. So going back into competition and thinking you can just do a competition after getting injured and not really taking care of that injury, then you're definitely gonna get re-injured again.
Yeah. I wonder if there's anybody out there who's like trained from white belt to black belt who never competed, because there's so much pressure in this sport to compete. And I have personally never met someone who's never competed because there's so much pressure. So it's like, what's the point of training if you're not going to compete, even though there's plenty of people out there who don't compete a lot at all. Like, I mean, like barely at all. And they're still very skilled, very talented, and hold their belt level, with that credibility. But
I'm sure there are. Like you're saying, I've never met people like that. But I'm sure
we all do know one person.
Who?
Chris Finoglio.
Finoglio?
Yeah.
Wait, I thought he did compete at least once. He never competed?
He up until he got his brown belt, at least. I don't know.
Yeah,
up
until brown. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if he's even practicing anymore. I don't know. I haven't
I mean, I know he had
seen any posts from him on Facebook. So
he's always kind of like, but I know that he was I don't know if he had like a medical issue that prevented him from competing, but he was really good. I remember him being really good. I'm surprised. I thought he had at least competed one time. I'm surprised. Okay. So all right. So I do know somebody who's never, because like most people, like I said, especially if you're at a certain gym where they're very like team oriented. Our gym, for example, or like Pentagon MMA, very team oriented, always trying to get out there, competing. And there's some other gyms where it's a little bit more laid back and, we're
like a club,
Yeah, like a club, exactly. I'm just doing this for fun.
I accidentally, when I was a white belt, I accidentally slammed Chris Finoglio. But I mean, it wasn't like terrible. He was low enough to the ground. And I felt so bad about it. He was like, no slamming.
Like, I'm sorry.
I felt so bad about it,
Yeah, I mean, like if you did it like accidentally, like if you say like I'm sorry, when you're either like a competition or training, that's okay, right? But like if they don't have like feel bad about like hurting you or doing something wrong, then that's like they have either like really not
They're
like
a
have big
psychopath.
ego, psychopath,
I've not slammed anyone since. So I
learned your lesson right there and then.
Yeah.
I mean, I see people getting close though. They'll like pick someone up and I'll catch them right as they're like picking that. I was like, do not slam that person. Like I've had to say this to like other white or blue belts. Like, do not slam that person. We don't do that. That's you can seriously injure someone's back. I
mean, I think so. The best response is just take the knee, go down on your knees and let the person down gently onto the mat, and then just, if you're standing up and they're still holding on, just go
Just
down
wear them like a backpack.
and then go let them then get into their guard. Let you get into their guard. So
yeah,
it's not worth it.
I like to carry around like a backpack. I think it's fun.
So you don't do the whole like
Also,
backward jump thing on slam them on the mat.
No, I've never tried that, but it does sound like an interesting technique. No, I'm just playing. I would never.
Were you guys at the open mat where I took Dafka's back and everyone was just yelling at him to stand up, so he stood up and ran around, did like 2 laps with me on his
That's
back.
hilarious. Yeah, and I see some girls, they're just like very nimble and they just like I think I saw Beatrice doing that I went to one of her ladies open mats, and I got there a little early, and I was watching her train the Nogi class, and I saw her like get on this guy's back, and she was just like tight. He like stood up, he's like, what do I do now? And she's just like holding on,
He's like, where did she go?
By the bell, a timer goes off. But it was fun to watch. She's great. But
But yeah.
I don't know how long we're going to do this podcast for, but I know there was another topic I was interested in maybe delving into. Everybody's interested. One about, go ahead.
We were only 40 minutes in, so I usually like to do about an hour.
Okay.
So we can keep going for another 20 minutes if you want. 20, 30
Yeah,
minutes.
I mean, if you guys want to.
Okay.
The other topic was about that article you sent where it's like 10 reasons why you should consider switching gyms. And I remember when I first read the title, it was like 10 reasons why you should go to a different gym. And I thought that was really odd, because I was like, why would you want to? I feel like usually when you pick a gym and like you pick your coach, like you should be loyal to your coach for as long as possible, unless there's like extenuating circumstances that make it very difficult to keep training under that coach. That's my mentality. I think maybe a little bit more old school, but I did notice that like some of the things some of the reasons were related to if you don't like, if the vibe, or if like they're not respecting you or something, like I don't know, pull it up. I don't know if you have it up there we go. It doesn't align with their goals. Yeah There you go. Yeah, that's it. It doesn't align with your goals. Your coaches focus on money more than their students. You don't feel satisfied. Students get special treatment. Your coach is repeatedly dating his students. Yeah, hell no. Hygiene and cleanliness isn't good enough. Yeah, you don't want to train at a...
That should be number one.
That's definitely, yeah. Health is wealth, right? Instructor worship is for cults. Not... I definitely know a few martial arts gyms where it feels a little cultish.
Yeah.
Bullying by senior students, too many injuries. Yeah.
You know what I just realized? Sorry to interrupt you.
No, go ahead. It's your podcast.
I don't think there's 10. I just noticed this because I think we went over this a couple weeks ago. There's not actually 10 reasons on here.
No.
Oh yeah, it's that number, and it's kind of weird too.
Scroll down. It's not
number 10 is
number 10 is the conclusion.
Yeah, so there's only 9 reasons.
They skipped
8.
Yeah, I don't know. They're weird. Anyway, they don't know how to count, but that's okay. You don't need to know how to
They just want to title it, where it's catchy. They don't want to say 8 reasons.
Yeah, right, exactly. Like 8.5 reasons. Like, what? Nobody's gonna click on that.
Yeah, plus conclusion. Yeah, they don't want to name it like.
I could agree with most of these. Yeah,
I feel like one of the things they should add on here, maybe number 10, was like they don't respect women, because there's a lot of there's gym owners out there. I know. So I visited a friend when I was in Brazil, and she was training at this really well-known gym there. While she works for the government, you know, it was there for work anyway. And she had been training consistently at this one gym with a guy, you know, Gracie lineage, yada, 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 very well respected, until at one point he says something that was kind of sexist, like implying that women shouldn't compete or something, or that like they're not good enough to compete, or you know, it's really a man's sport or something like that. And like as soon as she like heard that from him, she was like, I'm out of here. You know, anything like that, that's like sexist, because there are still gyms out there who they consider themselves like more old school or whatever. Like, no, to hell with that. If there's any kind of nugget of that, you know, by any of the students, let alone the head instructor or owner, like hightail it out of there and make it known, like publicize that. Because I mean, yeah, it's a male dominated sport and we want to get more women because we're freaking good at it and we can do whatever the hell we want to do. And, you know, it's very, we live in 2023 now. Okay. Let's evolve. And there, but yeah, I was surprised when I heard that, because when I visited her, I had trained there and he seemed like a cool dude, a little rough around the edges, but like, you know, there's always those, isn't it? But like a cool dude. And then when she told me that, I was like, wow, that's like, I can't believe that still exists, you know?
Yeah,
but like and then, you know, maybe not a head instructor, maybe not the owner, but like there are people, you know, like maybe like new students who come in who can have that same mentality, or who make the, like Angie and I were talking about this earlier today, who like make training really awkward. And if you have that problem, I would say don't necessarily, like they make comments that could be misconstrued as like sexual or suggestive. If something like that happens, I wouldn't necessarily say like leave the gym per se, but definitely like say something about that person, because
I'd say like bring it up to the owner or head coach and see how they react, like see how they handle it, because that says a lot about a gym. Is if they're just kind of blow it off or brush it off, then hightail it out of there. But if they take it seriously, then it's, you know, you can trust them. There's some level of trust there.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, one there was a situation that I kind of was helping out with, where it involved a creeper at a gym that we trained at. And
I know exactly who you're talking about.
Yeah. Well, there's actually probably like two other situations.
Oh, okay. Well, I know one specific,
but I actually had a talk with the guy. And I was like, you know, look, cut it out. You know, these ladies are friends with guys who are much bigger and much tougher than you are, and have been doing this much longer than you have been. It's not going to end well with you.
Was it like advances or like just?
So he would, I think, first and foremost, he had a attitude problem and he had an anger issue. And secondly, I don't think he valued training with women very much. And whenever one of our female competitors or female training partners would get the advantage on him, he would lose his mind. And you could see it. It was like, you know, something would snap and then he would go 100%, 110% on who he was partnered with. And, you know, as a guy, that's not a good thing. Like nothing training wise good comes from that. So he ended up hurting at least two of the newer ladies, and I didn't know that. You know, when they both came back, they both connected the dots with each other, and then they came and talked to me. So I went and talked to him. So,
yeah, you got to squash that shit right there and then.
Yeah.
Like if there's anything like that at a gym. But yeah, that should be reason number 10 up there. If like there's any kind of sexist attitude at the gym, that's a no-go.
And I thought it was a little bit weird. I'm like, dude, why are you doing that in an environment like this? Because these ladies are friends with a bunch of different guys,
Yeah.
and if we were even halfway evil, we would, yeah, we would not treat you very well. Let's just leave it.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
it's even not, let's say, not even going outside of the gym. They're friends with other folks in the gym who will destroy you.
Yeah,
Mm.
it's
Yeah,
like,
well, that will create a bullying situation. So
yeah, it would. And
yeah.
also, the negative to that is there's always going to be somebody who would take advantage of that kind of camaraderie. Let's say she
Hmm.
doesn't like a guy. Hey,
Mm.
fellas, him. We're like, oh, okay.
I've never seen that happen. Have you?
Not in jujitsu.
Okay.
The place that I used to dance at that occurred.
Yeah. I feel like, if a woman is doing jujitsu, that is the last place she's trying to like be suggestive with anyone because we have to work hard. I'm not gonna necessarily say we gotta work harder than any other guy out there, but I feel like as women, because it's such a male dominated sport, I kind of do argue it's a little harder. That's why you don't see so many women like stick around. They try it, and I don't know. They find it too difficult, or they find it too gross, or they
Hmm.
hate being squashed by guys all the time because guys don't know how to roll with girls. But it's like it's really hard. So it's like really frustrating when you get
Yeah.
people like that. And it's like, dude, come on, man. Like, you're really
It's
killing
yeah,
it for
it's
us.
I think it's also
Yeah.
just like all about creating a safe space for women because it's like women go to a gym to work out, you have
Hmm.
creepers there. You go to the store to shop and get your groceries, you have creepers
Hmm.
there. You go to school and try and study, you have creepers. There are creepers everywhere. It's just like, you know, can't women just have a safe space where they can train and like, get better jujitsu and stuff like that? Because yeah, that's why like whenever there's like a new woman who comes into the gym, I'm like super welcoming because I'm just like, we need more women in the
Yeah.
sport. Yeah.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
And quite frankly, I'll say it. They actually kind of make the gym comfortable, I guess you could say.
Yeah. Less broy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I don't know. Maybe it's just because all of my hobbies, there's always been a good population of ladies around. When I walk into some activity, it doesn't matter what the activity is. If there's no ladies around, I feel weird. It's kind
Yeah.
of like there's not one like.
Sausage fest.
Yeah, I know a girl who like left the gym because they were like the guys were talking back like that or behind or texting about the girl,
Wow.
like I don't know, whatever they were talking about, but then the girl didn't feel comfortable.
And she stopped coming.
Yeah, changed the gym.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying, man. Like making it really, and I mean, a lot of women,
Yeah.
I think guys forget, like, sure, we might not have the same strength or like body size, but we have some, like, we offer a different skill set that is extremely challenging for a lot of guys. I mean, a lot of times, I'm not trying to like generalize too much here because, like, in this day and age, it's kind of dangerous to do so. But I will say, like, when I roll with women, it feels a lot more technical. They're a lot more bendy and like you're like, whoa, what's going on here?
Yeah.
I mean, it feels like it's different, in a very like more strategic way, and I mean, obviously there's still plenty of females out there who know like smash and pass and that's their game, but like, you know, as I mean, they offer a different game. And I think that maybe if like there's a guy out there who doesn't feel like they get good training with a female, maybe it's because like, hey, dude, you're not focusing enough on technique. Jujitsu is not all about smash and pass and like flattening your opponent like a pancake. Okay. It's about, grips and transitioning and positioning,
Positioning and sprinting.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's that technique, that strategy, and maybe you gotta like alter your mindset, your perception of what jujitsu means. What kind of sport it
And
is.
what is it that Yana always says?
What do I?
Position before submission.
Grips.
Yeah, transition, position, then
Position,
submission.
submission.
Hmm.
You should get that tattooed.
Today I
Yeah,
learned
maybe I will put my
grips.
back.
Grips.
We gotta add grips to that.
Grips,
Yeah,
yeah.
grips. Yeah, definitely grips. That's super important.
Mhm.
I feel like I didn't really, I mean, I kind of knew that was important, but being a purple belt, it wasn't until I've, been a purple belt that I seriously internalized just how important the grips are.
Hmm.
Yeah, if you don't keep them, you're just gonna lose your opponent.
Yeah,
Mhm.
start doing some judo, get those grips.
Speaking of
Yeah,
which,
well, I mean, you just hold on like a mother. He's like,
yeah.
hold on to their legs and don't let go.
Speaking of which,
Like Jack.
Chris was saying that he could tell that we all learned from Sugi because we were grip heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
funny. I was rolling against someone at Beta, and I was telling him about because we're talking about Masasugi beforehand, and I was telling him that I trained under Masasugi. So before we started rolling, he was like, "Oh man, I don't want to stand up with you."
Yeah.
He was like, "Man, I see you got those grips." I was like, "Yeah, it's
You already know. Yeah. Nice and sprained finger.
Yeah.
It's like cauliflower ear. You're dangerous just by like, cauliflower ear and
The
sprained knuckles.
fingers.
Yeah.
These fingers getting like,
Gnarled.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Nubby. Nubby. That's the
I
word
find
I
it
use.
interesting how the yeah, could also be another topic for another day, but kind of the things that you inherently pick up from your instructor, where it's just like, people see your style and they're like, oh, I've seen that before. You must be under so and so, I think that's interesting because you train so much under your coach, you're bound to pick something up, but it's like you train so much under this person that you start looking like the person, and
Mhm.
style wise. I think
Mhm.
that's interesting.
Yeah, and I mean, I feel like that's the whole goal of the coach, isn't it? Like they wanna show their style and have their brand.
Yeah.
It makes them feel good. I know, like, I mean, people
I,
tell that I've trained under Sugi because like pressure, he's all about that pressure game.
Yeah.
Toriando.
What were you gonna say, Angie?
yeah. Oh no, I forgot, but yeah. Um, I'm blanking out.
You're
Well,
probably tired, Angie, from such a long day.
Yeah.
You sound tired.
Um, yeah, I forgot what I was gonna say. I just had it.
well, I'll say this. Speaking of similarities,
I'll,
I,
I'll
I
come
was
back to it.
I
Oh
was
yeah,
looking.
yeah. Now I remember.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Can I finish?
Yeah, go
Oh,
ahead.
I was just gonna say that you know how we like monkeys see and monkeys do?
Hmm.
Hmm.
Like we're always watching Master Sugi roll and then like teach. So like I feel like automatically like because we're learning from him, like our bodies move kind of like, oh, like leg has to be like this way and this way. So the body positioning even is kind of like similar to Master Sugi. So I think like we're seeing him a lot more, like how kids like, like walk the same way as their dad or something, mom.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Like we kind of like watching Master Sui all the time, so kind of like do the same things. I think it's just the visual like information that we're always getting, like automatically puts us to like bodies moving the same way.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well,
Yeah.
I'll say this. I was looking through pictures that I have been taking the last 2 years, and I found a
Hmm.
picture of Master Sugi, me, Yana, and Noman, where we're doing like a standing pass, and we all are doing like a
Oh
like
yeah.
a horse stance. We're gripping the lapels, and we're all in the same the same standing position. It was
Yeah.
like it was real funny. I was like,
Do
hey,
you have
we're
it close by? I want to see it.
same thing. I'll send them to you.
Are you gonna like patch them all together like a collage?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you should.
Just
Like this is what we learn at our gym. What
can
you got?
can you tell who we've been learning from?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So
But yeah, I got that's all I got.
yeah. So we are out of time. So we'll do final thoughts. Angie, final thoughts.
I just want to say good luck to everybody who's competing at World Masters. I know a lot of girls in this area have been training all different divisions, belts, and guys, everybody who's going there from our gym. As I say, I mean, we've been putting in work, so we'll just go there and show what we got. So I don't want to say good luck because, we got it.
Got in the bag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wole?
Yeah, good luck to everyone who's competing also. And you know, just in general, stuff like we were talking about earlier, don't hurt your opponents. Well, not saying that folks who are competing are going
Respect,
to do
yeah.
this, but yeah, just circling back to what we were saying, like respect your opponents, and like at the end of the day, none of us are doing this professionally, so chill out.
Yana?
Yeah, I definitely second both comments. Good luck to everyone out there who's preparing for Worlds or Jiu-Jitsu Con, because that's also next weekend. And be respectful. Martial arts is about respect, discipline. I want to say humility. No, hubris. That's the word.
What's
Humility. I
that?
like
No,
humility.
hubris. No, that's the opposite. That's arrogance, isn't it? The opposite of hubris.
Humble.
Humility?
Humility.
Ah.
Humility. I'm like, humility. What the hell word is that? That's not a word. I'm gonna make it up today.
I was like,
And
hubris.
humility.
Get
Humility,
that
discipline, and
Thank you for
respect.
the new words.
Get that tattooed.
For me.
Humility.
Yeah, right.
Humility.
Right above grips. Yeah, that's all I got.
Hubris, excessive pride, or
Yeah,
self-confidence.
the opposite of that.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm no longer hyper, so
Good.
no.
After that whole bottle of Mountain Dew, I'm
This
surprised.
conversation has trained your energy down.
I know. I think my caffeine and
are we
sugar
that
intake.
boring, Thomas?
No, just like,
Time now.
oh, Krypton apologizes for not interacting more. He was gaming, apparently. Probably playing World of Warcraft. Can y'all three stay back when we sign off? I want to show you guys something.
Sure.
Mhm.
Sure. All right, talk to y'all later.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Twitch
Bye.
peoples. That stopped and
Yeah.